Hey guys, Grant here. I want to tell you all about my friends at Black Bear Inn and Suites of Gatlinburg who are making it possible to bring this episode to you. As you guys know, I grew up in East Tennessee, and there are two things that all East Tennesseans have in common. We all love the Vols, and we all love the Smoky Mountains. Since I've moved to Nashville, I've been unable to get my Smoky Mountain fix in, but thankfully, our friends at Black Bear Inn and Suites of downtown Gatlinburg have me covered. They are conveniently located at 1100 Parkway and are within walking distance of all the major attractions and best food that downtown Gatlinburg has to offer. To book your Smoky Mountain getaway today, visit blackbeargatlinburg.com or call 865-436-5656 or toll free at 1-800-933-0777. Welcome into this edition of the Vawlin Out podcast. My name is Grant Williams, and joining me just as he does each and every time here on the program, we have Jordan Mountcastle. Jordan,
What's up,
how you
bud?
doing, bro?
Buddy, good. Glad I'm not having to sweat that game out last night anymore.
Yeah, you were probably sitting there being like, oh man, I've got to talk to Grant tomorrow on camera about this horrible basketball game, and he's going to be fired up. Well, Grant's not going to be as fired up as we thought I was going to be. That's the
Right.
one silver lining in this, but man, we got a jam-packed show today. We're going to recap that whatever that was last night against Mizzou, talk a little bit about Texas A&M round 2, and then talk a little bit of Basevols today, man. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in and get us started on this.
Let's go.
So last night, there was a tale of two halves in Como. The Vols started out slow, and when I say slow, I mean slow, only scoring 26 points in the first half on 30% shooting.
Buddy, I texted you at one point. I was like, do we hit 25?
I told you, I said, we're going to. No questions asked. God,
You had
dude,
to
I
sweat
was
that one
sweating that out. I was sweating that one out. But, man, I mean, Tennessee really changed everything at halftime. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's Dalton Connect decided that he's the best player in America and decided that he needed to go back and do Dalton Connect type things. But the Vols shooting improves to 55.5% in the second half for a final score of 72-67. Dalton Connect adds another classic performance. Nothing else we can say on that. And Tobe Awaka steps up big for the Vols. And I just noticed my graphic got cut off at the bottom. So last night was also the first time that Tennessee has lost the assist part of the game and still won the game.
Man, dude, I knew it was sloppy last night, but I didn't realize it was that sloppy that Tennessee lost the assist part of the game. I knew we had a lot of turnovers though, dude. Like some of them were just
They were
bonehead.
egregious. They were egregious.
Boneheaded.
It was horrible.
Like that first half, man. Gosh.
I'm going to say this, and I texted you this yesterday. I texted my dad this, and I'm going to say it here for everybody who wants to listen to what I got to say. The first half of basketball yesterday was the worst half of basketball I have ever watched in my entire life.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, there was no two ways about that, man. It's awful. It was like watching a middle school girls basketball game.
I mean, the middle school girls basketball game would be more entertaining than what that first half was last night. Like, what was it up through like the 10-minute mark in the first half? Like, there would only been like 2 field goals made up to that point, and then we had an offensive explosion with 3 baskets back to back to back.
Tennessee finally got their first field goal at the 15:30 mark to take a 2-1 lead.
Well, and so, here's what's funny on that too, man. I didn't have on my bingo card a Jordan Gainey dunk being the first field goal made of the entire game.
Right? I mean, golly, dude. Like, I mean, and it was like even the free throws, man. When Zakai missed that first one on a 3 ball, I was like, good God.
Oh, dude, it was the worst thing. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what that first half was last night, but it opens up another question for me when it comes to this team.
Like, I tracked it last night along with them on TV and along with you. At one point, it was like both teams were a combined, what was it, 1 of 18?
It was something like that, man. It was horrible.
Could not hit the broadside of a snow-covered barn, son.
Snow-covered barn, man. Well, we're used to that snow-covered right now, at least out here in the mid-state and over on the east side as well. But man, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
After how Tennessee has played in a couple of games recently, has your opinion changed on what this team can do long term?
Not really, man. I mean, here's the thing, man. I was sitting there thinking about this last night, and I'm like, this is what because if you go back to last show, I said I was afraid that might happen last night.
You
They
were
come
you were
out
right on that.
they come out flat. Yeah, I mean, it's like we put two good games together, and then that third one, it's if they could ever get over that 3-game hump, I would feel a lot better. But still, man, last night they had to gut that one out, and they got it done. So on the road, nonetheless. Granted, it wasn't Rupp Arena or you know whatever else, but they got it done. They found a way to get it done. Good teams find a way to get it done.
Well, you're right on that. Good teams always do find a way to get it done, but I mean, just man, there's more concerns that come up with this team for me each time that they play, and I don't want to be that way. I still think this is a really good team. I still think this is one of the better teams in the country, but can they consistently put it together for an extended period of games versus just 2 games? Like that's my biggest question on that. And so kind of diving into what the teams did last night. Man, Tennessee shot 42.1% from the field versus Missouri's 37.5. 3-pointers, 29.5% for Tennessee to Missouri's 37. That's going to get you beat.
Yeah, that was something else too that I was kind of thinking last night, though. At the same time, I'm sitting there thinking, well, good teams find a way to win. Well, the thing about it is if Tennessee was playing a good team last night, that game's not even close.
Tennessee gets blown out of the water. If you're playing a team that's not Missouri or Vanderbilt in
A
the
mediocre
SEC,
team.
yeah, you're getting your ass beat in this game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts when it comes to that.
But
You
I
dug
think
yourself too big of a hole in the first half.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think too, it just kind of we've talked about it before. It's hard to play, it's hard to get up for a team that you are that much better than. But it's going into the last week of February, man. It don't matter if you're that much better than they are. At the beginning of the year, you can do that because you're playing, teams that on paper are a mile apart. You're a mile better than.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not like that. You're in conference play, knowing that, you're towards the top of the conference, you're gonna get everybody's best shot, just plain and simple.
Well, and here's the thing on this too, man. If it's kind of like what we just said earlier, if Tennessee's playing a team with a pulse, it's not even a basketball game at that point, and it's going the other way for the bad guys versus the good guys. I mean, Missouri is probably the worst team that Tennessee has played all year that is in a Power Six conference.
I would say you're right. I
I,
would
I
say you're
don't I
right.
don't know who else would be. I mean, Vanderbilt. I mean, that'd be
Mm,
the only other one that has any competition for that. And Tennessee has struggled on the road against Vanderbilt in the first half, Missouri in the first half, against
the
Texas
state.
A&M, who's not turned into be a good team. Mississippi State's not a good team. Like it, it opens up some questions that I have for the team, and we'll get into that after all this. Diving a little bit more into the stats and what they were last night for Tennessee. Here's another really big one, man, that I don't like at all. The free throws. 19 of 27, not good enough.
No, no. I mean, we were 0 for 3. We started the game 0 for 3 from the line.
Yeah, well, and two of those, the first two free throws of the game were Dalton, and he missed both of them. Like that last one rolled all the way down into the basket, then rolled all the
And
way back up. And I'm just like, oh boy, here we go
yeah,
again. Here's another night just like what we had last week against Texas A&M. And good Lord, man. I mean, like I said, if you're playing with a team with a pulse, it's not even good. And so here's another thing, too. Tennessee had so much size compared to Missouri in that game.
yes.
Why do you only win the rebounding battle by 5 and offensive boards are tied?
Yeah, that was concerning too. A lot of that come in the first half from Missouri, though. That second half, like you say, it Adu decided he wanted to play. Tobey decided he wanted to play. That was the big men put it together in that second half with the help of Dalton Connect.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that you're right on that, man. It's concerning to me that a team that I mean, they got that 7'2" guy who's from Africa. I can't remember his name. But then after that, they don't have any other size in Mizzou.
No, no, that and at one point, dude, that guy, man, that guy just look. I'm sorry, he looks goofy, dude, out there.
Oh, dude.
Just he's so like his arms are so long. I'm surprised they don't, touch the ground when he walks.
Looks
Wake
like the
wacky.
inflatable two bar man, bro. Like what to Marion Sharp
Yeah,
from Ole Miss. That's who he reminds me of on that. Assist. I mean, Tennessee, like I alluded to earlier in the program, Tennessee lost the assist battle. It was only by one, but you still lost it.
yeah. That's
11-10. Not good. I mean, 10 assists is going to get you beat if you're playing any team other than Missouri or Vanderbilt.
no, yeah. And what is that? 15 turnovers. Both teams had 15 turnovers.
So ugly, dude.
We had, and I want to say Tennessee had what, 10 in the first half.
I think that's right. I think it was actually higher than that. I think it was 12.
They really, but they really tightened it up, really cleaned it up in that second half. But golly, man, that was just ugly.
Ugly, 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 ugly. Capital U,
You know,
capital G, capital L, capital Y. Ugly.
yes, you ain't got no alibi, you ugly. But
That game was ugly. It ain't got no alibi. That's for damn sure.
Here's the thing though, too. We always talk about how Tennessee either plays way up, plays way down. If that's a team that they feel they have a potential to make a statement win against, possibly, maybe they come out and are ready to go. But again, dude, it just goes back to what I was saying a minute ago. Come out ready to play every night, because you're at that point in the year where if you're not, you're going to get beat. Somebody is going to get you that shouldn't.
Well,
And it
and
almost
it's
happened
not
last
even
night.
just that, man. You shouldn't. So this is where my biggest problem is right now with what the team is doing. What was it 3 weeks ago? You go to Rupp Arena. You play the best game that you have ever played in that arena
Mm-hmm.
in 50 years of it being open.
Yeah.
Where's that been since then? On the road, you've had one good showing since then, and that was Arkansas. You had a horrible, horrible, horrible game against Texas A&M that we'll be talking about later in the show. Horrible game against Missouri. I just, I don't know, man. I have some concerns for this reason and this reason only. Basketball is a tournament sport.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, when this team gets away from the Food City Center, they have a lot of issues going through and doing what they need to be doing. And I'm concerned that one of these days you're going to go up against a team that you have no business losing to in the tournament. And they have a hot night. The only guy who gets off the plane is Dalton Connect. And then you're up shit creek without a paddle, which that's the way college basketball goes. It's just a concern for me where I can see this team going to the Sweet 16 and that be as far as they go. I can see them going to the round of 32 and that being as far as they go. But then also I can see this team going to Phoenix and cutting down nets in Phoenix the first week of April. It's this team is so Jekyll and Hyde, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
They really are, man. It's just like one like Saturday night in the Food City Center. I guarantee you, almost we come out and just Tennessee comes out and just absolutely spanks Texas A&M.
No, don't guarantee it. Don't guarantee it. Don't guarantee a win. I don't want to see that yet.
I'm doing it now. Doing it
Oh
now.
God. And so hang on real quick. I'm going to say this to all the faithful listeners of the show. If Tennessee loses that game, it's all on Jordan. Mean tweet him at Jordan Vawlin Out.
Get me. I don't care. I'll take it. I'll take it. But I'm just saying, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. We've got, and they've won 3. We called the last one. By the trends, they're due another really good game.
Well, and I hope they are. I hope they are. I almost
So,
wish they would save it for Auburn on Wednesday, but that's neither here nor there. So, diving into what the full team did, couple takeaways I have before I start diving into what's on the screen right here. Tennessee only played 8 guys.
yeah, that
And
rotation was small last night, man.
well, and that's a Rick Barnes thing that he typically does, but at the same time, like you need more guard play. You
Yeah.
need more from your bigs. You need more from your wings. Like you need a lot more than what you're getting from your team to begin with. Like horrible shooting night for anybody who can see. And once again, ESPN does not have the minutes played up here, so I will pull that up on my second screen and read that out to you guys. So in 31 minutes last night, Jonas Adu went 6 of 9 from the field, 2 of 4 from the line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 4 blocks. Dude was throwing out blocks left and right in Como last night.
Block party, son.
1 turnover, 14 points. Jonas Aju, you played a really good game, bud. I can't pick on anything you did last night.
One thing about his game, though, that I do want to say, he'd
Mhm.
have about 4 more rebounds if he would have grabbed a few of them like he owned a pair. Just saying.
You're not wrong on that. I don't know. That's all
I
I've
mean,
got to
that's
say.
nitpicking. That's nitpicking. I get it, but
No, it's not nitpicking because as a big man and as a guy who's 7 foot tall, you need to grab those.
yeah. I mean, there was a few of them. It was just like he's out there playing volleyball with it.
That's what it seems like right there. So in 36 minutes last night, Mr. Dalton Connect went 6 of 16 from the floor. Yikes. 3 of 6 from 3, 2 of 4 from the line. He got 10 rebounds, so double-double for DK right there. 2 assists, 4 turnovers, 3 fouls, 17 points. I can't really pick on anything Dalton did because without Dalton, Tennessee's not even in this game.
No.
Next one right here.
He
And
handled
my
it in that second half. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you're good. So my favorite stat on this entire stat sheet that I see once again today is Zakai's minutes. In 31 minutes, Zakai went 3 of 9 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 2 of 3 from the line, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, 4 fouls, 10 points. That 31 minutes, man, is going to help Tennessee out a whole lot more than anybody can expect right now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Tennessee's got to get Z some rest. I mean, well, it don't matter if it's an extra 2 or 3 minutes a game. They add up.
Well, he does not need to be playing more than 33 minutes a game. I really think he needs to be able to sit that 7 minutes because think about this too, man. They're going to be out here in Nashville in a couple of weeks in the tournament.
Yeah.
That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, technically Friday, Saturday, Sunday because Tennessee will be a top 4 team.
Right.
That's 3 games in 3 days if you go as far as you can do, which I would expect this team to be able to do.
Sure.
But are you telling me that this kid can play 40 minutes he can play 120 minutes over the course of 3 days? Not happening. I don't care who
No.
he is. It's not possible. So continue to get those minutes to go down. Next, you've got Santiago Vescovi with 25 minutes, 0 of 3 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3. At least he was consistent where he took his shots. 1 of 2 from the line, 5 boards, no assist, 2 steals, 2 fouls, 1 point. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Next, we've
Man.
got Josiah Jordan James, 1 of 6 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 4 points. There's nothing even worth talking about that he did right there. Now, going into a guy that I have been very, very critical of this year,
Me too.
Tobe Awaka. I mean, go have yourself a day, young man. 22 minutes, 6 of 8 from the field, 6 of 7 from the line, 10 boards, 1 block, 1 steal, 2 fouls, 18 points. To
Hell of a
lead the
game.
Vols in points.
Hell of a game.
Oh, man, without question. I mean, just
you
one of the better games he's had of his.
Yes.
That was the best game of Tobe Awaka's career.
Yeah, absolutely. You actually messaged me during the game and you're like, it's a Tobe game. It was.
Well, Tobe brings a different type of physicality to the game where not a lot of players are willing to do that. Jonas isn't willing to do that, which I love Jonas. I'm not saying anything bad about Jonas when I say that right here, but Tennessee needs in some games that physicality. Like, this was not a good matchup for Tennessee. Missouri punched Tennessee in the mouth and Tennessee didn't know how to respond. Example, Texas A&M. Example, South Carolina. That's the games where you need Tobe Awaka to get down there and just bruise people in the post, kick the ball back out, find the guys with the open shot.
Tobe last night was the only guy that played both halves with the type of energy and brought the physicality that they needed last night. He is the only one.
I don't disagree at all. He's the only guy who showed up for 40 minutes.
He really is, and I'm glad to see it because that was great, you know. But I do want to say Mizzou kind of took the South Carolina blueprint They were
Yeah.
like, let's muck this game up. Let's make it, slow paced, dirty, sloppy, whatever we got to do. Keep it close. Give ourselves a chance within the last 5 minutes of the game, and let's see what happens. And that's what they did. It just
Yeah.
didn't work out for them like it did South Carolina.
Well, and that has also been Missouri's game plan all year long. I mean,
Yeah.
they've been in every single game that they've had.
Mhm.
And Missouri will beat somebody eventually in conference. It obviously won't be Tennessee. Tennessee was able to escape lucky on that, but they're going to get somebody before the season's over with. Dennis Gates is a good coach, even though he looks like Little Bill out there. He's a good coach. And I think that, man, they're going to get somebody who is not expecting it. And here's the thing: what we saw last night is college basketball at the end of the
Mhm.
day.
Mhm.
Not a good team. They play out of their mind. The good team has a off night, and you got what you got. Luckily, Tennessee didn't have any major issues with that where they could have. Diving over to Mizzou, man, Carter had 20 points for them. Sean East the second had 24, and Nick Honor had 10 points. Other than that, they really didn't get a whole lot out of anybody. Shooting percentage from the floor was 37.5%. Shooting from three, 37%, and shooting from the line, 71.4%. Is there anything that kind of sticks out with you on Mizzou on this, man?
East had himself a game last night. He's a tough little ball player, man.
Dude can ball.
Yes, and he's come a long way too. They were talking about it during the game last night that he used to just be flat out embarrassed of his offensive game. Well, he don't have nothing to be embarrassed about now.
Well, so here's something they said last night, and I stat checked this to make sure this was accurate so I could drop it on here. Throughout his entire career at Missouri until this season, he had two 20-point games. Look at where he's at this year. He's averaging 20 points per game this year.
Right? That's
Like, I mean,
wild.
this kid is so good, man. And I'm happy for him. I've always liked Sean East's game. Hoops Junkie, watch every single team in the conference probably once a week. Love Sean
Right.
East's game. Just he was never able to put it in. Dennis Gates has done a very, very good job with him.
Yeah.
And I hope Mizzou sticks with Dennis Gates for multiple reasons. One being, well, if he can't figure it out, well, this is what Mizzou's got. But two, I think he's a really good basketball coach. I mean, look at what they did last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were the
Absolutely.
darlings of the SEC last year.
Yeah. And unfortunately, two of those wins came at our expense. Another thing that sticks out to me on this, they only had three guys get to the free throw line last night.
Ain't that crazy right there,
That's
man?
wild, man. I mean, wild. Uh,
Well,
You're gonna tell me some of their big men didn't? I mean, other than Carter, didn't go to the free throw line?
yeah,
Wasn't
that's
good
not
enough to
how
get
that
there?
should be. Like Majak, that's the kid who's from Africa that I was talking about earlier in
Yeah.
the show. Like, look at his stat line, bro. No shots. Like, I don't
Glass
understand that.
eater.
You're 7'2" though. Like, get up there and put the ball up there in the hoop, man. Like, I don't understand that. So, leaders for the game last night. Tobe Awaka had 18 points. Sean East for the Tigers had 24 points. Moving on next, Tobe Awaka had 10 boards, where Carter for the Tigers had 7. That's Noah Carter. And then Sean East led the team in assist as well with 6 assists to Zakai Ziegler's 3. One thing, though, that stands out to me on that assist to turnover ratios were god awful last night in
Yeah.
that game.
They were
Like,
terrible, man.
well, like Sean East
Terrible.
1.2. Okay, Charles Barkley. And then Zakai Ziegler 1.5. Like, not good enough. That is not going to do anything for anybody right there. So I want to change the pace real quick on what we're talking about right here before we listen to Ricky Dale himself. Rick Barnes has now won 20 games 24 times in his career, and he has won 20 games 5 times at the University of Tennessee.
Man. And people still want to complain about Ricky Dale. Also, 799 career wins. He gets it done Saturday. That's 800. 800.
He should get it done on Saturday, and I hope that a sold out Food City Center stays after the game is over with to congratulate Coach because he deserves it, man. I mean, Tennessee was not anywhere close to where they are whenever Rick first came to Knoxville. And
No.
the longevity is something that we have all longed for. And we're finally getting the longevity. Unfortunately, we're at the end of his career. We all know it. He knows it. realistically, how much more longer does Rick Barnes do this, man?
I'd say we got him at least one more, maybe two, depending on what happens this year.
I was going to say, if they go to Phoenix, I ain't coming back if I'm Rick.
Go out on top.
Yeah, I would go out on top. I would ride on over to Fort Loudon Lake where he lives over there and sit on the boat all day long every day with a beer in my hand. That's what I'd be doing.
With a ranch water. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Ricky Dale strikes me as the ranch water type. You know?
Hey, I love ranch water, bro. Give me a spicy ranch water, and Grant is thrilled. I can just sit on the couch all day long, watch some football, basketball, baseball, whatever the hell's on TV,
There you go.
and sip on a ranch water, man. I love that stuff.
Before we hear from Ricky Dale, though, how about it? What I sent you last night on Twitter from Twitter about Zakai.
Go ahead and drop that for everybody right here, man,
legit.
because it is accurate. It is accurate.
I knew during the game I heard him say, "Oh, look at Eli Drinkowitz over there talking to the Tennessee huddle. You guys ain't that tough. You guys ain't that tough." And then Zakai was just like, "I don't even know who you are. You four-eyed fat ass."
Dude, I love it. I love it because I'll say this though, man. I know this is going to be an extremely unpopular opinion, especially with Tennessee fans. I actually like Drink.
No.
I like Drink, man. The guy can coach. He's hilarious too.
But you know, if the only thing that would have been any better than that is if Zakai would have been like, "Stand on business, buddy."
Man, I love it. I like Drink. I think that he's hilarious. Like that press conference where he goes up there and stands in like a Darth Vader costume because Florida did it to him the year before and he remembered on that. I like stuff like that, man. It's good for the game. And he's trying to build a rivalry with a team like Missouri that has no rivals.
That's because nobody cares about Missouri football.
Well, and also you got to think about it, man. I mean, they've been in the conference for what, 10 years?
Right.
Like nobody cares about them. Nobody cares about Texas A&M unless you're Arkansas. Like Arkansas cares about both of those. Nobody else cares. So it's like, I don't know. I kind of like it, man. I like him trying to build the rivalry right there because there could be a rivalry brewing between Josh Heupel and Eli Drinkowitz. That's all I'll say right there. But
Let's
man,
see what happens in 25.
Yeah, well, shit. I wish we were playing them this year in 24.
I do
man.
too.
I really, really do.
I do too.
But man, let's hear what Rick Barnes had to say after the win in Como last night.
All right.
All right, got Tennessee head coach Rick Barnes here with no better questions.
Yeah, Coach, just to start off, what do you think was the biggest difference between the first and the second half for you guys?
Well, we went with a bigger lineup. We felt like we weren't getting much from the perimeter. You know, first half didn't make any threes, and you look at our post guys, they did a great job. I mean, you got Tobey Awaka had a double-double, but combined he shot the ball well. And but again, I've got a lot of respect in how hard we told. I don't know what everybody else expected. This is what we expected. A team that in Missouri, that Dennis's teams, they played hard. They had a chance to win the game the other night on the road at Ole Miss, and we knew they were going to come in and fight. And it's hard to do that when you've had the kind of conference season they've had. But it's really a credit to he and his players because they fought, and we knew that. I thought the first half they played harder. I thought they played with a lot more sense of urgency than we did. And second half, and they didn't do anything that we didn't talk about. They didn't. Our defense really kept us in the game in the first half, and then the second half, Dalton obviously got going. He had too many turnovers, but the difference, I think, was the production we got from our post guys.
Any more questions?
Coach, tonight your team reaches 20 wins for the fifth time in the past 7 years. It's not postseason, of course, but to have reached that benchmark again, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to the program?
Well, Tennessee's an awesome place. It's a great job. A great fan base. I mean, everybody says it, but I do think that we've got the best fan base in college basketball. When I go back to 9 years ago when we were not good, we were trying to build it, and the fan support back then when we were just struggling to find a way to win games, they were with us from the beginning. And our administration is tremendous in terms of knowing not only as a university, but where we want to be as an athletic department. They're giving us everything that we need, but so much of the credit where we are today really goes to our older guys. I mean, certainly when Josiah and Santi came in, that was a little bit of a transition period when the Grant Williams era had ended, and those guys came in and got put in the fire. But then when Zakai comes in, a guy that we thought we were going to redshirt when we signed him and have him redshirt, but after a week he was out there. His DNA had a major impact, but you got Santi and Josiah, Jemai Mashak, who's played a lot of minutes. And I give them credit for the way that they've embraced Jordan and Dalton this year because, we won a lot of games last year like this, but we didn't have a guy that could go get the points like Dalton did tonight when we needed him. And but I think it's just a compliment to our coaches, our players, because we set the bar high. We want to be a team like everybody that wants to play on Monday, but to do that. But the consistency that these older guys, what they've done is really, I think Santi went over the 1,500 point, and he didn't even know he was even close. He actually said, "What does that mean?" He wasn't sure what it was. And we've got an unselfish group of guys, and but we've got everything that we need, and we've got. I was really impressed with our young guys on the bench. I was really impressed with them at halftime. I asked those guys, I said, "What do you think we need the second half?" And they spoke up and said, "We need more effort," which I think that's a compliment to our older guys too, because they compete against those guys. But the way they spoke up to me is what our program is about, and the fact that we talk about transparency in everything that we do, and I think we are a program like that.
Coach, Tamar Bates been a driving force for Mizzou on offense for most of this season. He finishes 3 for 15 from the floor, 7 pointers. What do you think you did against him that kind of kept him out of the rhythm?
Well, we really try to emphasize a real team defense. We try to do that. We wanted to certainly be in the gaps and not foul. That was a big thing, because they've got some guys that shoot a high percentage. They didn't have a great night shooting tonight at the free throw line. That's one thing we were concerned about and wanted to play without fouling to give them those opportunities. We wanted to make sure that they didn't get out in transition as much as we want to get out in transition. We felt like if we sometimes when you shoot threes, they'll send a guy along, and we felt we had to eliminate those kind of baskets. But once we get into half court, everything we do is personnel based, but it's based on a team defense. We're not asking one guy to guard one guy. Even though we talk about pride in playing one-on-one, we still know that we've got to get support, especially with players like that can do some damage to you.
Coach, can you talk about Tobe Awaka's impact tonight? And was the plan to kind of play him a lot more tonight because of the matchup, or was it just because he was playing really well, so you kept rolling with it?
Well, honestly, I was pretty upset at halftime because I felt like we had lost our poise, and guys were all just trying to shoot the ball, hope it would go in. And I just felt like, and I said at halftime to them, I said, "You guys, Jonas is a pretty good player." And Tobe, and so I knew when coming out of the locker room I was going to go with a big lineup, which is the most we've done it all year, because one, I wanted us to rebound the ball, and we knew they were going to change defenses, and with that, we've got a certain thing that we want to run, and one of those that we try to do with those guys, we're going to take good shots and let those guys go rebound it, and I thought he and Jonas did a good job with it, but I knew coming out of halftime we were going to go with try the big lineup anyway, and they got it done for us. And one reason we probably don't do it more is that Josiah's out there and knows how to anchor down everything on the defensive end, and we always worry about those guys with the different coverages that we have. Can they guard it? And tonight I thought they did a pretty good job overall.
Anything else?
And that was Rick Barnes after the game in Como on Tuesday night. Jordan, what takeaways do you have from what Rick Barnes had to say?
Him talking about Adu and Tobe last night, that was the big adjustment that they made at halftime, and it worked out really well for him. That was important.
It did, man. I mean, Tobe Awaka played a great game, and it wasn't just him. Jonas Adu had a great game. Dalton Connect, kind of guy he called on right there to be able to, rally the troops and be able to get a lot from him. I mean, it was a masterclass of coaching in the second half, after the first half was abysmal and god awful and the worst job he's done, probably not just in Knoxville, but in his entire career.
You can always tell when he's like, you can always tell he's constantly coaching Connect, like constantly. Last night,
because he knows how good he's going to be.
Right. And like I say, last night, man, towards the end of the game, when Tennessee kind of knew, well, we've done enough now, I think it's done. He was still coaching him. I mean, coaching his hind end off.
Well, there's a hell of a lot that still need to be worked on. So, I mean, I'm going to say that. I mean, especially after what that was on Tuesday night in Como. So, Jordan, man, who is your player of the game?
Tobey,
How can
without
you
even
go with
batting an
anybody
eyelash.
else? How can you go
We've
with
rode
anybody
him.
else?
You
Yeah.
you can't. I mean, you could go with Dalton, but you can go with Dalton every game. It get want to break up the monotony a little bit here.
Yeah.
Tobey,
Well,
we rode him hard all year. He played well enough to earn it last night. Without Tobey, I don't think we win.
no, what Tennessee doesn't. I mean, diving into what Tobey Awaka did just a little bit more 22 minutes, 6 of 8 from the field, 6 of 7 from the line, 10 boards, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover, 18 points. Tobey Awaka, congratulations on becoming the Vawlin Out podcast player of the game.
You know what's coming next. Who is it?
Let me just show you.
Oh,
Josiah Jordan James, you have been put on the Vawlin Out Milk Carton.
it's just not even fun anymore putting Santi on there.
I mean, I don't know. I think it kind of is, but I mean, Josiah, dude. I mean, horrible game from him last night. 19 minutes, 1 of 6 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. So I'll give him that. But you get 4 points, 3 rebounds. Like, there's that. So here's one thing I wanna throw out to you before we go to break right here, Jordan.
Okay.
There's been a trend that I have noticed by sitting here and looking at the stat sheets from the past couple of games. There's always 2 guys who seem to just disappear every single game, whether it be Gainey and Awaka, or if it's Triple J and Santi.
Yeah.
If it's Jonas and Santi, or you can go down the list, but it always seems to be there. But instead of me picking on that, I'm actually going to praise Rick Barnes for that, because that goes in and shows really good coaching, saying, hey, it's not your night, but you're a team player. So now you don't take another damn shot. Unless I tell you to, you don't take a shot unless you are the widest open person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But
That and depth.
well, it's not even just that. It goes to showing, hey, you've got team players who are willing to say, hey, no, it's not my night on offense. I'm going to play defense right here. That's what you're seeing out of them. But Jordan, let's get a word from some of our sponsors real quick, and we'll be right back.
Heck yeah, let's do it. If you're looking for the perfect Smoky Mountain vacation, Mountain Romance is your cozy romantic getaway. Starting at $129 per night, you get 2 bedrooms, 2 full baths, and this beautiful cabin will sleep up to 6 people. With an amazing mountain view, fire pit, pool table, and hot tub, this place has it all and is located within minutes of downtown Gatlinburg. To inquire, go to Airbnb and search for Mountain Romance, or email bearslair2021@gmail.com.
All right, guys. If you all are anything like me and you have a hard time waking up in the morning until you get that caffeine in you, come give our friends at W a try. Each energy blend that they have created comes with no calories, no sugar, no fillers, and no artificial colors. So you go online, you go buy it, it comes to your house. It comes in a little container with powder in it. Scoop it out, drop it in your shaker, add water, shake it up, and you're good to go. It's that simple. Tastes amazing, no carbonation, no added sugars in it, so you don't get that sugar crash at the end of your energy buzz. Let me tell you guys, this stuff is amazing. My favorite flavor is Beach and Peach, which is a white mango peach. And oh boy, stuff is great. Let me just tell you. Go to w.gg on your web browser and type in promo code VAWLINOUT for 10% off. VAWLINOUT for 10% off.
This next segment is brought to you by Three Kings of Cardboard, the go-to spot to upgrade your sports memorabilia collection. Check out their Facebook group and eBay at Three Kings of Cardboard. I have dealt with them personally and will not deal with anybody else. My favorite item from them is my Jalen Wright 1-of-1 Bowman U Superfractor that they have pulled me. Check out our friends at Three Kings of Cardboard today.
Jordan, man, I think it's time we talk a little bit of SEC hoops. There's not been a whole lot of games on yet this week, only 2 so far, but we got ourselves a hell of a slate of games today, man.
Oh, yeah, man. There's some good ones tonight for sure.
Yeah, and the games yesterday were a lot closer than I think anybody expected at all.
Right.
So diving into the games that happened yesterday, Tennessee over Missouri, 72-67. Rewind back into the first segment if you guys want to hear our full breakdown of that game. Then, surprising one for me at least, Arkansas got a 7-point dub over Texas A&M, who is also Tennessee's next opponent.
Man, Texas A&M, since they whooped Tennessee,
They ain't
has
won a
dropped
game.
3 in a row.
They ain't won a game. Yeah. So
It's the Vawlin Out curse.
don't even get that going. I don't want to hear about no falling out curse. Come on, man. So diving into the games that are happening tonight, man. I mean, like I said, lots of really, really good games. One of them is a ranked matchup, actually. So you've got number 13 Alabama taking on number 24 Florida on ESPN2 at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Alabama is an 8.5-point favorite in this game right here.
Give me the over in that one.
I
Bama will win that
wonder.
one.
I wonder if they have got that information. So the over is set at 173.5.
Give it to me.
Over easy. And then, like I said, I mean, Alabama's an 8.5-point favorite on that. Which way are you rolling when it comes to that, man?
Give me the points. Give me the over and the points, but I'll take Bama to win that one.
I think I'm going to take Bama to cover, honestly. And I think Bama hits the over on that. I mean, man, kind of talking about this too. I mean, Florida's won 3 in a row. I mean, man, their last loss was to Texas A&M by 1 point.
Florida's playing good ball right now, though. It wouldn't surprise me if it went the other way, but I think is it in Gainesville?
It is in Gainesville, and the get-in
Ooh.
price. You want to, dude? You want to jump on a plane real quick and go down to Gainesville? Only $4 is the get-in price.
Hell,
That's what I'm saying for one of the best basketball games of the year.
jeez almighty, man.
Yeah, and dude,
I'd
they've got
tear
that
somebody's arm
beautiful
off for
arena.
that. Yeah,
They've got that brand new beautiful arena, so it's just like Madison Square Garden. So there are no lights over the seats whenever the game's on. So they turn all those off, and the only lights are on the courts.
that's cool.
So it's like you're watching like a stage production almost. Like really, really cool place over there. I'm dying to go to that arena. That is on my bucket list right there.
You know what? I'm changing my pick. Give me the Gators.
I'm taking Alabama.
Give me
Alabama's
the
going to
Gators.
cover. Bama's going to cover. Bama wins by 15. That's all I'm going
Oh.
to say. That's all I'm going to say
Oh.
right there. You know what? We'll dive into the ones that don't really matter as well. Vanderbilt's first game since firing Jerry Stackhouse. They host the Georgia Bulldogs at 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 Eastern on the SEC Network. Georgia is a 1.5 favorite, which seems extremely low when it comes to that. Over under is set at 143.5. Who do you got in this one, Jordan?
Give me Vandy. In Memorial
Vandy.
Gym, give me Vandy.
Man, I may go to this game. $3 is the get-in price,
There you go.
and that's a hell of a lot more feasible than going to Gainesville right now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, and
I don't
you might
know.
come back smelling like sewer from down there.
And I will say this: one of the best places I've ever watched a game at is actually the Swamp for
I can
away
see it.
football. For away football, one of the best places and some of the nicest fans I've ever been around. We'll talk about that at a different time, but one of those things right there. Kentucky travels down to Baton Rouge to take on the LSU Tigers. Kentucky is a 6.5-point favorite in this game, which starts at 9 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN, 8 p.m. Central. Get in price mans are low today across the conference. $2 on this one.
Dang.
Matchup predictor is giving Kentucky a 59.8% chance to win this game. Spread on this is Kentucky 6.5, and the over/under is set at 162.5.
Give me the over and give me Kentucky to cover.
Give me the under and give me LSU to cover.
Oh,
I kind of like this LSU team a little bit, man. I know they're really not that good, but give me that. But man, that get-in price is weird to me that we're seeing some that low. And then for the final matchup of the midweek slate in the Southeastern Conference, you have the Ole Miss Rebels going to Stark Vegas to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs with a get-in price, once again, that is extremely low at $10. The Egg Bowl on the hardwood is giving Ole Miss 6.5 points. So they're 6.5-point dogs, and the over-under is set at 141.5. Give me Ole Miss to cover. I think they lose, but they cover. And I think that the under is going to be what hits on this one.
I'll go with the under. Give me Ole Miss outright.
Ole Miss outright.
Outright.
Okay. I like it. Man.
Let them hang.
Well, man, let's, as much as I don't want to do it, we got to talk about Texas A&M.
Yeah, we do, man.
And how ugly that was 2 weeks ago.
Man, that's a similar matchup predictor to what it was there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was going to go back and pull it, but I was like, I'm throwing that slide away. It's in the trash. We're brand new when it comes to this.
Yes.
So the Vols are hosting the Aggies this time around on Saturday, the 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on ESPN. The first matchup was played on February the 10th in College Station. Aggies won that one 85-69, and what was really a head scratcher for Tennessee, because you look at these two teams on paper, man, it's not even close.
No. That first go around, man, it was just one of those things where if it could go wrong for Tennessee, it went wrong, and if it could go right for Texas A&M, it went doubly right.
I mean, and that's basketball at the end of the day, and I came on here and I said that too, because a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of people on Instagram, the sky is falling. Oh my God, the season is over. Like, you couldn't imagine how many times I saw that on that day. And it's like, no, it's not, guys. This is what basketball is. And like, so I'm gonna say this right here, and this may make some people mad, but I'm still gonna say it anyways. Tennessee fans are going into basketball with an SEC football mentality of you have to win every single game, where people like me, who are massive NBA fans, sit there and go, it's a long season. You're going to drop some you shouldn't drop, and the world's not ending when you do. Now, fast forward to 3 weeks from now. Well, the world does end if you lose.
Yeah.
But right now it doesn't. So enjoy it. Realize, hey, this is part of college basketball. As some days, teams are going to have their best night of the year against you, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Well, I think that Tennessee is going to have blood on their minds in this game.
Yes.
You don't beat somebody like Texas A&M beat Tennessee and expect for when you get the rematch, which thankfully we get a rematch in this one.
Yeah.
Tennessee's going to do what they need to do. Tennessee is averaging 80 points per game versus A&M 74.2. Points allowed per game, Tennessee is averaging 67.2 versus A&M 69.4. Shooting percentages on the season, A&M is at 40%, where Tennessee is at 45.5%. Rebounding, A&M wins that battle on paper, 43 to Tennessee's almost 39. Assists, Tennessee blows the Aggies out of the water with 17.5 versus A&M's 11.1. Blocks per game, Tennessee 4.7 to A&M's almost 3 at 2.9. Steals per game, Tennessee is at 8 versus A&M's 7.3. And A&M has not won a game since they beat the Volunteers 2 weeks ago, where Tennessee has won every single game since then.
Of course not.
Right? Isn't that just how it works, man? Like,
let's start talking up Alabama.
Start talking up Alabama. Start talking up, Kentucky. Let's start talking up South. Well, we've already talked up South Carolina, and the world's gone to shit in Columbia
and
since
Auburn.
then. And Auburn, right? So let's start talking up Alabama, man. Roll Tide. Oh God, I can't believe I just said that.
I can't believe I just said that.
My heart is hurting. My heart is hurting. So, hey, if it helps out Tennessee, man, I'll say RT any time of the day. If it helps out Tennessee. So diving into the last game with the full team stats, Tennessee shot 37% from the field versus A&M's 46.5%. 3-point percentage, Tennessee 27.5 versus A&M's 39.3. That is what lost Tennessee this basketball game right there.
100%.
Not being able to close out on the three, not being able to get good, solid perimeter defense. It really kind of is what bit Tennessee in the ass. Free throws was another big thing. Tennessee shot 60% versus A&M 72%. Rebounds, A&M won that battle pretty handily. By 8, 43 to 35.
Yeah, that's one of my things. I jotted down a couple of things for this game. got to keep A&M off the boards. You seen it last game; they absolutely dominated Tennessee in that on the boards. That just one guy, really, too. I mean, the guy had what 17 rebounds.
Yeah, we'll get to him in just a second. I've got all that in here because that was just ridiculous. Assist A&M won that battle as well, but it's also hard to not win that battle whenever you shoot damn near 50% from the field. I mean, let's just say what
Yeah.
it is right there. Blocks were tied in this game. Steals, A&M had one up on Tennessee on that for 6-5. Fast break points, Tennessee smoked them. I mean, 18-4. Don't know why that was such a big issue. Points in the paint, A&M won that one by 4. Fouls, Tennessee fouled more, and A&M led that game at one point by 22, where Tennessee did not hold a lead in that entire game. These guys here on your screen, if you are watching on YouTube, were the guys who played in the game for Tennessee. Jonas Adu had 20 minutes with 6 points, 5 boards. Dalton Connect, 28 minutes, 22 points, 7 boards. Zakai Ziegler, 40 minutes. 40 minutes.
Can't have that again.
Yeah, you can't have that again the rest of the year. 15 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds for Z. Great game for Z in this, but he's the only one who was able to do anything. Santi had 5 points in 30 minutes. Josiah Jordan James had 4 points in 31 minutes. Tobe, 5 points in 12 minutes. Gainey, 4 points in 22 minutes. Meshack, 8 points in 17 minutes.
Man,
it was just an ugly game, man. Like I don't think it's going to be anywhere close to what it was then, but just like looking at this, man, it makes me angry. Like I feel like my blood boil again thinking about this game because it should have never happened that way. Going over to A&M, man, I mean, just what stands out the most to you from these stats on the screen right here?
Radford, Wade Taylor, hotter than fish grease.
They really were, man.
And then old boy with 17 rebounds.
Jesus. Garcia.
I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Jesus.
Yeah, like I don't understand it.
I mean, that's the thing. They got to keep him off the boards. He's not going to score. He's not going to score a lot, clearly.
No, I mean, he only had 6 points in this game. Most of his came from the free throw line, though, so you can't hack a Garcia. Like, that's not an option right here.
Right. And then, but I want to say one thing that I noticed in that game. Texas A&M done phenomenal crashing the boards, man. As soon as the ball was shot, they were crashing. If I'm Ricky Dale this week in practice, I'm saying, boys, I don't care if you're at half court, you box the guy out.
Yeah, I mean, well, you should. I mean, what was it? 43 boards for A&M versus Tennessee's 35. Like that's not good enough for Tennessee in this game. It's just not.
Tennessee lost by 16. That's a difference of 8 possessions right there. Do the math.
Yeah, I mean, well, you get those extra points from crashing the boards, and that's where A&M was able to control this game. I mean, and also I'm going to go on a limb right here, and I'm not positive on this, but I want to say 85 points was probably the highest that A&M has scored in a game all year.
I would say you're right.
I think I am. Like, I mean, well, let's see. 71, 75, 73, 85, 89. I mean, just skimming through it very, very quickly. They scored 97 against Kentucky. So no, they did have a better offensive output than they did have against Tennessee, but I don't foresee that happening. Diving into what the teams have done since they played each other last, yikes. Vanderbilt, Alabama, Arkansas all beat Texas A&M, where Tennessee has been victorious. I mean, Tennessee has played Arkansas, Vanderbilt, and Missouri. I mean, the schedule's been more in Tennessee's favor. Like, Tennessee hasn't had to play Alabama in this whole thing.
But they did have to play Texas A&M, and they lost. It's just it's I'll take that 4-game skid right there, or four of those 5 games that A&M's played against 3 of ours.
Yeah, I would too, man. Like I mean, I just my concern with where we're at on this, man, is Tennessee lost when they shouldn't have lost. We can all say that. We can all agree with that right there. But it's how you respond to it, especially after having a poor shooting night like you did in Como last night. how does Tennessee respond? That's what we've got to look at and see right here. Does Tennessee decide, hey, we're going to start making our run at the Southeastern Conference crown, or we're going to sit back and hope for better seeding in the NCAA tournament? I mean, like, that's what Tennessee's kind of got to decide right now. And I think that you continue to push them where you're at and you're going to be just fine. But
Yeah.
that has been the past 5 games right here, but the 2 teams have played. Jordan, give me a score prediction that you have got for Saturday night at the Food City Center.
I'm going to say Tennessee 89, Texas A&M 70.
So you're expecting an ass whooping.
You damn right.
Man, I do not have it that close. I mean, not that, I mean, I don't have it that far away from each other. Give me Tennessee 75 to A&M 68. I still think it's a bad matchup for Tennessee at the end of the day, but being at the Food City Center, I think, does help out Tennessee a lot right there. But this game will be played at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN on Saturday, the 24th. So, Jordan, man, there's been some baseball played over the past couple of days. There's another game going on today. Let's talk a little bit of Basevols.
Oh, buddy, they took care of business. The last 2 trips out on the diamond. They got Baylor the other night, 11-5 on Sunday, on 12 hits. Didn't have any errors. That game was actually close there for a little while. It was 3-2. Baylor was Baylor led 2-0, and it was 3-2 for a little while after that, and then the bats got hot. So the Vols pulled away for a bit on that one. Then UNC Asheville last night, Tuesday night, won 3-2. That is the definition of a pitcher's duel, my friend.
You know, I got to watch a lot of that game. Didn't really get to do too much because I was editing an episode that we had recorded prior in the day, so wasn't paying attention too much. But two takeaways I've got, man. Lindsey Nelson Stadium right now, with the renovations they have made, it looks so much better.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then 2, those orange jerseys, man. Like, I don't like dressing like a traffic cone. I like the cream one that I've got more that I wear on camera whenever we're doing this sometimes. But man, anything that's got the Vol script just going across the front of it, sign me up 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. Take my money. And also, just in case you guys are wondering what Tennessee baseball jersey you might want to buy this year, dark mode is at Alumni Hall.
Oh.
They've got the legitimate dark mode ones stitched in Vols. It's got the state on the sleeve right here. So when your boy gets out to Knoxville later this week, I may be making a trip over there.
Heck yeah, dude. There you go. One thing, though, I do want to point out from that game last night, as a whole, the pitching staff only had 10 strikeouts last night. Their pitch count was 144. Out of those 144, they threw 103 strikes. That's pretty damn accurate.
Yeah, it is. And the pitching was the biggest concern everybody had for this team this year.
Yeah. Now, granted, they did it across 3 guys, 3 arms, but still, man, that's impressive, man. 2 earned runs. 1 guy got stuck with those. Did give up one homer, 9 hits. Whatever. It happens. They got the dub, though.
Well, and that is all that matters right there. And Tennessee actually does have another game today as well versus East Tennessee State University, which the game does start at 4:30 Eastern time. And I believe that is SEC Network Plus on that guy right there.
I think so.
Yeah, it's SEC Network Plus at 4:30. So you'll get that right there. I do not have any betting odds on that. But Jordan, man, you want to hear what Tony V had to say yesterday at the end of the game?
Heck yeah, let's hear it.
On game day, I mean, just had a conversation with our guys. I mean, there's a big difference between scrimmages and the games. And if I was a fan, I could try and put myself in a fan's shoes. If I'm hearing the coach saying, well, we don't know what we got yet, or how's this guy going to be his first time out, or how's this guy going to handle this situation, I'd be like, well, aren't you paying attention in practice and the bullpens? And I'm not that old, but I've coached enough. You can watch as many bullpens as you want and scrimmages as you want. You don't really know what you got till game day, because guys get emotional, they do different things, and he seems to be able to compete the way he needs to on game day. Again, first go around. So it's awesome. Yeah, the last few guys that have been on that mound for us have made a statement that they want the ball again.
What was it like just having this home opener, seeing fans in the new portion of the park and all those things?
Yeah, it's weird. It's surreal. I mean, the third deck added to the aesthetics, and it's right across from our sight line in the dugout. So it was just kind of cool to see. I mean, the second deck was kind of emotional because some of the players really got emotional about it, and we're excited about having that built. Backtrack another year or two, the artificial surface was just every day you reminded yourself you're lucky, that good things will happen in this program if we keep working hard. But this deal's kind of a whole total different thing. I mean, it makes it look like pro park. I don't even mean professional baseball. I just mean first class is the right phrase. And we're not done, which is exciting. But for now, we're going to enjoy this.
How would you assess what Schaefer gave you?
It was good. I think, sometimes these guys are able to go out there and announce their presence with authority in high school because their stuff is so different from those around them. And even though we got some guys that can get the ball up to 100 literally, I don't know that we have that many power pitchers. You just got to go out there and pitch to what is your strengths and, work with the catcher and work with Coach Anderson on just how do we get the guy out. It's kind of like some of our hitters. They can go up there. We got some guys that can hit balls a long way in BP. But when the game starts, you just got to get in the box and figure out how you're going to square the baseball up against that particular pitcher or in that particular situation, whether we're trying to move the runner from second or from third or whatever it might be. So I think he found himself in that kind of compete mode and got in that little rhythm in the second and third inning the more he was out there. Eventually we had to take him out because of pitch count.
And that is what Tony Vitello had to say after the game against UNC Asheville on Tuesday at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Jordan, what takeaways do you have from what the headman of the Volunteers had to say on Tuesday night?
Well, he's right about as far as you can watch all the scrimmages you want, you can whatever. When it gets down to it, all that matters is game performance.
Well, and he's right. I mean, and I like what he said right there too. And not to cut you off right here, but you never know how a kid's going to react until they get into the game situations. Like, you can use football for this example, basketball, baseball, underwater basket weaving, any sports. You never know how an 18 to 22-year-old kid is going to act in game situations until it gets there. There's different types of mannerisms that they have when they're under stress.
Right. Well, some kids are good in practice. You get them out in the game, not very good. Some kids are gamers. They don't practice well through the week, but you get them out there, they perform. And
Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, that's where I was that's a perfect example of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's Joe Milton. Great in practice, horrible in games. It just kind of goes that way. Like, Joe was a great practice quarterback from everything that you've heard them say over there.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Dobbs was a horrible practice quarterback. Well, who was the better ball player and who's going to be playing on Sundays? Whose career in the NFL is going to be a whole lot longer? Josh Dobbs, of course. It's not even a question on that. But I do like that Tony did say that, and I'm glad that that's a part we did put in the show for today.
There's that, and then the renovations you had just mentioned that.
Beautiful.
The kids love it. That's awesome. I mean, Tennessee has the potential to do big things this year, and all three sports.
I really may try to go to the game on Saturday that they've got over there at Lindsey Nelson, since I'll already be on campus. Might as well and go check out some Basevols, man. This team is going to do that. Be a really special team this year, I hope. But they do play once again today against East Tennessee State University on SEC Network Plus. So make sure you guys have the Apple TV fired up or whatever streaming device you use. Shameless plug for Apple. I don't really care. Love Apple stuff. But make sure you guys have that ready so you guys can watch the Baseballs play. But Jordan, man, we're closing out the show right here, but I do want to play some Start Bench Cut before we go.
Oh, I thought you'd never ask.
Man, hey, how can I forget my favorite part of this?
Right? Absolutely.
How can I forget, man?
So the best time of the show almost.
It is. I think this is what everybody really waits for. They don't want to listen to what we got to say about football, basketball, or baseball. They want Start Bench Cut. So we got to give the people what they want.
That's right. We got to always give them what they want.
So, Jordan, today, got a couple for you right here. Start Bench Cut going into this next stretch of basketball games for the Tennessee Volunteers. Which one will be the toughest? Start Bench Cut at South Carolina at Alabama versus Auburn.
Start at Alabama because I know Tennessee struggles on the road at times, even if it is a good opponent. That's going to be a good game. Going to be a tough game, whether either team comes out and plays their best ball or both teams come out and play their best ball. That's going to be a hard fought game.
I agree.
Bench Auburn and cut at South Carolina.
Yeah, cut it. So you're going to cut at South Carolina?
Yeah. Bruce
So
has just seemed to got our number too. So
Bruce does seem to, but the past couple of years has not worked out so great for good old Brucey Poo over there on the plains. I am going to start at South Carolina. I think that this is a matchup nightmare for Tennessee. I said it after the first game. I will say it going into the second game and hope for a different outcome. I'm going to bench Auburn coming to the Food City Center because, once again, like what you said, Bruce has had our number in the past, and I'm going to cut at Alabama, even though I think that is the most important game. I think Tennessee matches up very, very well against Alabama, and we saw that at the Food City Center. What was it, mid January? So
that's true, but I went with starting Bama just because I feel like Bama's probably playing their best ball right now.
I think they are, and I don't think Tennessee's necessarily playing their best ball right now.
So this could get interesting.
I think it could. So with 5 games left in the regular season for the University of Tennessee Volunteers on the hardwood, what is the most likely outcome for Tennessee in the regular season? Start bench cut 5-0, 3-2, under 500.
Ooh. I'm gonna start 3-2. I feel like we'll probably drop one, maybe 2 that we shouldn't. Because I mean, Tennessee closes out on a tough stretch.
Tougher than anybody else has in the entire conference. I mean, talking about what that stretch is, and maybe I should have said this before we got started on start bench cut for this one right here. Tennessee has a really tough schedule. So the remaining games that are left are against Texas A&M on Saturday, Auburn on Wednesday next week. Then you go to at Alabama, at South Carolina, then host Kentucky on Senior Day.
Yeah, I'm gonna start 3-2. I'm gonna bench under 500 just because you just like I say, man, it wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee lost 3 out of those 5. I hate to say it. I hate to say it, man, but it just wouldn't. You know,
so you're cutting 5-0.
I'm gonna cut 5-0. And honestly, I'll tell you what I really think. I think it's gonna come. I'm gonna split hairs here and say we probably go 4-1.
So I think that is probably the most likely outcome. I think that there's another loss on the schedule, and that loss is going to be to the South Carolina Gamecocks. I think Tennessee takes care of business against A&M. Auburn draw. I mean, I think that Tennessee beats Alabama. I don't see there being any issues in that matchup for Tennessee. South Carolina, don't like that matchup. Love the matchup against Kentucky. So I'm going to start 3-2 just for the sake of the exercise right here. I'm going to bench 5-0, and I'm going to cut under 500 because I just don't see this team going under 500 in this stretch. Now, they could lose every single damn one of them, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit, but I just don't see that happening.
Right. I mean, it's just, yeah, Jekyll and Hyde, buddy. Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, so then now I'm going to break your heart with this next one. Just by even saying it, you might start crying over here on the show. Now that the NFL season is over with, how are you filling up your Sundays? Start bench cut, NBA on Sundays, video games, or Netflix?
I'm gonna start the NBA if it's on. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna bench video games, cut Netflix. Nothing on Netflix right now. It intrigues me.
There's so much good stuff.
There's
so much good stuff on Netflix.
I'm an HBO Max kind of guy.
Okay, so I agree with you on that. HBO Max is the best streaming service, but for I'm trying to find the right word for the listeners. Netflix is what everybody always says when it comes to streaming, because Netflix and chill, all of that. So
yeah, no HBO Max and chill.
Yeah, well, so 99.1 the sports animal, man, and I'm just going out of left field right here. They have a commercial, and it was like, I've heard streaming the sports animal is the new Netflix and chill. Well, come to think of it now, I'm the one who said that. And I do spend most of my nights alone now. I think about it. So love that commercial right there. 99.1, dude, they cut some of the best promos over there. Like another one that they've got. 9 out of 10 Tennessee fans listen to Tennessee football on the Sports Animal. The other one was an Alabama fan who can't listen to anything since the batteries died in his transistor radio in 1982. Love stuff like that. Like, I just love it, man. I'm going to start the NBA being a basketball guy. Just do that. Even though my Grizzlies are dog shit this year, I'm still going to start them. I'm going to bench Netflix and I'm going to cut video games. But that's like, they're so close. Like I could start or bench. I could cut or bench either one of them, but I'm starting the NBA 7 days a week and twice on Sundays. So for the last one right here, man, whenever you go to a bar, what's your favorite snack that you order at a bar? Start, bench, cut, wings, loaded fries, or nachos?
Ooh, I'm just kidding. This is an easy one. Start wings, bench loaded fries, cut nachos.
So you're going to do in the order I gave it to you in.
Yeah.
Man, I am going to start loaded fries. I'm going to bench wings and I'm going to cut nachos. So there was one of them I almost put in here, but I chose not to. And if I had changed it up, my order's completely different. So as you guys know, I live in Nashville and there's a bar about half a mile away from where I live. They host all of the Memphis Grizzlies watch parties. So I'll go out there and go watch the games. Well, they've got tater tot nachos. So it's tater tots, sour cream, salsa, jalapeno, bacon, onion, all of that on there. And dude, my mouth is watering thinking about it right now. I'm about to walk my fat ass over there to that bar and go get that as soon as we get done with this. Like I love those tater tot nachos, bro. Like one of my favorite things to eat in this entire world. But Jordan, man, I think that we have covered every single thing that has went on at the University of Tennessee since we spoke last.
I believe so, man. We do a pretty good job of doing so every time.
I think so, man. Hell, we may be a little bit longer than what we want it to be, but it is. So, guys, we are on the race to 100 subscribers on YouTube.
And we're close.
Very, very, very close. We only need about 10. So, guys, please help us get there by Saturday. If you guys do that, we're gonna work on a special little something for you guys if you can get us to 100 by Saturday. So
absolutely
work on that for us, guys. Please like, rate, and subscribe. It helps us bring this content to you guys more than you will ever know. Like, rate, subscribe, but mainly get us to that 100 subscribers on YouTube. And as always, go Vols.
Go Vols.
This episode of the Vawlin Out podcast has been brought to you by our friends at Peace of Mind Enterprises. From construction, home remodel, down to general handyman services, Peace of Mind has you covered.
All technicians are licensed and insured, servicing East Tennessee with 30-plus years of experience. Call 865-202-7167 for a free estimate, because nothing beats having peace of mind.